Hi, this is Pearl and welcome to my channel. Today I have for you week 42 of my 2020 Project Life album. I am using the Studio Calico Documenter Kit, and you'll see here that I have printed out my pictures using the Epson PM400. I do put my 3x4 pictures next to each other, and then I use my tonic guillotine to cut out the photos. I do date all of my pictures on the back, and I like to put my pictures in semi-chronological order. And here you'll see I'm counting how many 4x6 pictures I have and how many 3x4 pictures I have, so I know how to place my photos. So there's this one picture that I have on the left hand side that I flipped upside down. It's because it's a nasty picture. I went skateboarding down the hill with my son without a helmet on, and I forgot that I'm 49 years old, and I biffed it hard. I got bruises and raspberries all over the left hand side of my body and jacked up my knee. So you'll see here now that I'm going through all of the journaling cards that came with this kit, and I'm going to put a 4x6 card on the top left hand side of the layout. I'm going through the 3x4 cards, and the very left 3x4 card is always my title card. And what I mean by that is I just put a filler card there and I put the week number of this week, because I like to title all of my layouts with which week number it is, and I do date all of the photos, so if I needed to check chronologically what day what happened, I can do that way. And I also date stamp the journaling cards that I have as well. So I'm going through and looking at what journaling cards I need and what filler cards I need, and I'm going to fill these up. I do look at the colors of the cards to make sure that the layout is somewhat balanced and that the layout goes well together. And I do make my pictures black and white if the photo is it's not a good photo, or if the colors in the background of the photo is totally wrong for the layout. But you'll see I have one black and white photo of my daughter and one colored photo of my daughter there. Now I put the right hand side of the photo away, and I'm going to do the left hand side of my layout. And on this layout I am putting the word family using the letter stickers that came with this kit, and I'm spelling out family on the left hand side, and it says makes a house a home, because family is what makes my house a home. We could be living in a different house and it wouldn't really matter as long as my family was there with me. I'm looking at the stamps that came with the Ali Edwards kit as well as this documenter kit to see if I want to stamp anything. And excuse my head right there. And I'm looking at the stamps to see if there's anything that I want to stamp. And I decide I'm not going to stamp on this one. And then I love this journaling card with all the books. I am such an avid book reader. Actually, let me rephrase that. I've been really into audiobooks for the past year and a half. I do a subscription on audible.com, and I listen to my books that way. Now I'm taking a label that I did a print and cut from, and I'm using my Kokyo adhesive to adhere the label down to my photo. And I'm going to be journaling using my, oh, and I cut off the edge. I'm using my vintage Sarasa dark gray pen. I like to journal in dark gray. That way it's not as stark as black, but yet it's still very readable. So on this label I journaled, I forgot that I'm almost 49 years old and went skateboarding down the hill with Christian. Oops. And I'm just showing you my, or not showing you, but I have a picture of my big bruise there. And I'm going to date stamp that. I use my Stays On ink there, and I'm using my date stamp from One Canoe 2, and I'm stamping that label. And I'm also going to use a tiny attacher to staple for dimension. I'm stapling that label. Now next is a photo of my daughter at a master class, and I just decided to date stamp that and using Stays On ink. Then the last picture, or the 3x4 picture, is of my daughter. She's looking at the scrapbook pages that she has done. And I decide to go ahead and finish date stamping all of the photos on that left-hand side. Now on this mustard journaling card, I wrote, "Love that Kaya enjoys scrapbooking with me and looking at her pages." Now, I do my best not to influence how she scrapbooks, and of course she likes to scrapbook with the papers that I like to scrapbook with, which means that she does use a lot of my Felicity Jane, but I'm okay with that because I don't want her to think that she is less precious to me than my Felicity Jane papers, although it does, not gonna lie, hurt me a little bit. So I'm using this stamp, October Memories, that came in the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit, and I'm using my VersaFine ink pad there because the VersaFine stamps so well for detailed stamping, and then I'm using my stamp chamois to clean off my stamp. Now I wish the VersaFine would stamp well on photos as well because that would make stamping on photos so much easier, but that is not the case. So here I have a picture of a Sephora haul I did for my beauty channel, and I'm cutting off the end of that label, and I wrote recording beauty YouTube videos. After I do that, since I already stamped the date, which is right below the label, I'm going to staple that label down. And then I'm also going to use a transparency. Oh, let me go to the next one. There's a picture of the photography shop that's close to my house that I go to because my camera dropped, or I dropped my camera, I should say. So on this label I wrote, I accidentally dropped my Canon G7X and took it to get repaired. Instead, I paid $350 for a refurbished one, and I got the newer model. So that all worked out because this is not a cheap camera, and this is the camera I use to record all my videos, both for scrapbooking and for my beauty YouTube channel. So I'm stapling that as well. And before I decide I'm going to finish this, I'm taking this transparency that says October, and I'm going to staple that onto the picture of me with the Sephora haul, and I'm cutting off the excess so it just says October. So that's the left-hand side of the layout, and then I'm going to go ahead and look at the other embellishments that came with the kit, and there were some wood veneer words that came on, and I'm using the one that says Autumn Memories, and I'm going to just stick that on to the photo of me with my bruise under the label, and I'm going to call the left hand portion done. Let's move on to the right hand side of my layout. And I do have the grid of the Design Page Protector A drawn out onto white cardstock so I can just work on my layout without taking things in and out of the photo pockets. And here I'm using my Stays On ink with my One Canoe 2 date stamp to date stamp all of the photos. And on the journaling card that says Remember This, the one that's I'm getting ready to write on, I wrote Kindness of YouTube Friends. 2, gratitude and acknowledgement. 3, be kind to others just because. 4, keep your chin up. And 5, send thank you notes. And the reason I wrote that is on the journaling card that shows text messages, I got an Instagram DM from a YouTuber that is a bigger channel than me, and she wrote the sweetest note, and it just reminded me that the kindness of others and something that'll only take a minute out of your day can really make someone else's day. So I just wanted to include a screenshot of the message that she had sent to me. Now on this particular journaling card, I am journaling about the 2 photos on the top of my daughter getting her ears pierced again. I wrote, since Kaya's ears closed up after recitals in June, she says she never wanted to pierce her ears again. But recently, she's asking for her ears to be pierced again. Must be the influence of the big girls that dance today. Must be the big girls that dance. Today was a big day. She wanted to get her ears pierced and paid for it with her own money, and not a tear was shed, which I was so impressed because the first time she got her ears pierced, she cried so much. So I was really impressed that she didn't shed not even a tear. I think maybe the anxiety of getting her ears pierced is worse than actually getting her ears pierced. And then I date stamp that journaling card. Now on the next stamp, or the next journaling card, I am looking at, I am going to stamp on this picture of her with her hands by her face because she's nervous. and I can't even read what it says, even with my glasses on. But my Stays on ink doesn't stamp that very well. Oh, it says, "These stories matter." That's what it says on that stamp that didn't stamp very well. And I'm using that Amy Tangerine foam pad, I think is what it's called, where you put on the, to prick out points for embroidery. So I'm using this other date stamp about binge watching TVs, or binge watching, and I'm using the words binge watching, and I'm using my VersaFine, and I'm going to put that on the top there. And then I'm also going to stamp a a stamp of a TV, and I'm going to put that on the right side of binge watching. And I'm also going to stamp a rating on the bottom of that journaling card. I decided to watch the home edit on Netflix, and I binge watched that. And as I was binge watching, I was cleaning out drawers, and it felt so good. I really need to purge the house. So I'm putting my rating on there, and I put 5 stars, and I'm going to use well, we'll get to that in a minute. So I'm going to use my alphas that I got with my Felicity Jane, the same alphas that I'm using, or alpha numerics that I'm using to title week 42 on here. And I'm going to spell out home edit. And those girls on the bottom of the right-hand photo are the girls on the home edit show. And they go in and organize famous people's and the average Joe people's homes, and it's so nice. The only thing that I don't like about this show is that they arrange everything in rainbow order. And rainbow order, sure, that looks beautiful, but it doesn't always organize it in a systematical manner in which the way I think. Does that make sense? In the categories. Anyway, so after I put home edit down using my alphas, I watched the entire session on Netflix while purging the house. And that felt so good. And every about year and a half, I need to purge my house from top to bottom because I have a hard time purging my house when my kids are home. Anybody else have that problem? So I'm going to go ahead and date stamp the photo, and then I am going to use Nuvo drops in Love Potion to fill in the stars for my rating, and I am going to put 5 stars there because I really enjoyed the show. So after I put my ratings, I think I'm done. I probably should have put another wood embellishment on into this area. Now looking at it, you know, they say hindsight is 20/20, right? So I'm going to not do that, but I should have done that. So there is my layout for week 42. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know that sometimes my project life spreads are pretty simple, but I like to make sure I use only what's in the kit so I can get my layout done. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video, and I'll see you next time.